Can you hear in the back?
Yes.
Welcome this morning to KCC. My name is Eric Fromme. I'm one of the assistant teachers here. Joined this morning by fellow teachers Zopa and Bill and Dora. And it's our great joy to welcome you to our Sangha this morning, and hope that you find today beneficial and feel welcome here, and find support for your practice and your well-being. Today's schedule is the usual Sunday schedule, which means a little bit less than an hour of mindfulness meditation, followed by a break and followed by our question and answer period that will take us up to about 11 o'clock. I wanted to say a few words this morning about caring for oneself. I realized I wasn't exactly sure what that means. It occurred to me you could say, well, we spend our whole lives taking care of ourselves in a sort of struggle for our own personal happiness. And the clearest description of that struggle that I've heard is termed the 8 worldly dharmas, or 8 worldly concerns. Where we sort of obsessively seek the 4 concerns that we like, which for most of us are pleasure, gain or wealth, praise, and a good reputation. And seek to automatically avoid the other 4, which are pain and loss, being blamed, and having a bad reputation. And we can really spend our whole lives in the alternating pursuit and avoidance of these, thinking that we are taking care of ourselves, not noticing that they're actually a kind of engine that keeps what are called the 3 poisons, grasping, aversion, and ignorance, deeply embedded in our lives. And so in Buddhism we're taught about the Bodhisattva path, and that to truly take care of ourselves we need to start putting the happiness of others, of all beings really, ahead of our own happiness. But how do you do that without depriving yourself of happiness or becoming a martyr of a sort? Frank Ostaseski, who's a Buddhist teacher in the Bay Area, he tells a story about once upon a time during a mountain seat ceremony at San Francisco Zen Center, a student asked the incoming abbot, "What can the Dharma teach me about serving others?" And the abbot answered, "What others? Serve yourself." And the student persisted, "How? How can I serve myself?" And the new abbot responded, "Take care of others." True service is always mutually beneficial. And when we care for others, we're also nurturing ourselves, and this understanding can fundamentally shift the equation away from self-deprivation and martyrdom. I've spoken before about my own experience with depression and also about my work, which is in a field called palliative care that involves a lot of grief and suffering and death. And somebody asked me, why, if you're depressed, do you do that kind of work? Who cares, she said, if you're good at it, if it makes you depressed. And I really didn't have an answer, except that I knew that A, she was right, that depression and palliative care don't really go well together, and that B, I was going to go on doing palliative care regardless. And so in 2007, in trying to reconcile this mystery, I went to the Mind and Life conference with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and that year it was focused on depression and mental health. And of course His Holiness is about the least depressed person on the planet. But he shared a story of one of his monks who came to him saying that he was feeling really depressed, especially in the mornings. And His Holiness asked him what he was doing, and it turned out he was doing a very intensive meditation on death and impermanence. And His Holiness just laughed, he's well, what did you think was going to happen? He said, you can't just meditate on death and impermanence all the time without constantly reminding yourself of all the wonderful opportunities this life holds. As I was preparing this, I realized that what he's saying is not only true, it's actually kind of it's a practice. And a way of relating to suffering and difficulty in our lives and in the lives of people around us. And so on reflection, in the 9 years since then, I do feel like I've learned to see the great joy that can be found in palliative care, and that while there is great suffering in the world, there's also the great overcoming of it. And an example this past week was a woman told me that she felt like a failure because as she got closer and closer to death, she had moments when she felt totally at peace and at one with the universe. But that despite seeing that her life was slipping away, she still found herself struggling with petty concerns and neuroses and lifelong patterns that she desperately wanted to be free of. For some reason, I thought that perhaps all of those things, rather than being obstacles to her, might actually be a kind of medicine. And when she heard that word, she wept tears of joy. And so the courage and humor and endurance that people manifest in times of great struggle have an exquisite quality. That can be tremendously uplifting. And I'm extremely grateful that I have the opportunity to share that appreciation with you today. And so from that place, let's go for refuge and recite our traditional refuge and bodhicitta prayer.
Until the summit of enlightenment is reached, I and all beings go for refuge to the sources of true refuge. I will now practice the absorption of calm abiding in order to release all beings from their particular suffering and establish
period of formal meditation. And about halfway through, I'll give a little abrupt ring of the bell to signal a 1-minute stretch break. And I'll offer brief instructions on a mindfulness practice using the breath. And we begin by grounding ourselves in our bodies, checking our posture, ensuring that we're sitting up straight and feel stable either on a cushion or, if you're on a chair or a bench, with your feet on the floor. And feel for any tension in your body and breathe into it, and as you breathe in and breathe out, let the tension go so that your body's in a state of relaxation but also alert. Instead of relaxing to fall asleep, here we're relaxing in order to wake up. And next, become aware of your breathing and place your attention gently on your breath. Not thinking about your breath or investigating your breath. Like noticing your breath. And try to rest in that noticing. There's two main ways that we tend to get distracted, and the first is to be too excited or too full of thoughts, too tight. And in this case, the solution is to relax, particularly relaxing your body. If you find you're holding on to some tension. And the other main way is to be too dull or too loose. A little stuporous maybe. And in this case, it can be helpful to open your eyes or raise your gaze a little bit to allow more light in. Or to straighten up and reset your posture. But in any case, when you find yourself distracted, gently and without judgment or blame, in fact with great kindness, bring your mind back and place it on your breath. And this coming back to the breath with gentleness and kindness, this is what you're practicing. That's the practice. So do that again and again until Carolyn rings the bell. take a moment to stretch or adjust your posture if that's helpful. So now we have a break for about 15 minutes, and if you walk straight back in the kitchen on the right, there are things to make tea with, and please feel welcome and help yourself to a cup of tea. And straight back in the kitchen is one of 3 bathrooms, the other one being, or other ones being at the top of the stairs if you go up on the right, and then if you go through a door and down the stairs into the basement, there's also a bathroom on the right. And we have a few announcements. The most imminent one is Lama Michael Conklin is teaching a key to the Mahamudra aspiration prayer, and that's coming up this Saturday, May 28th from 9 to 4. And there's a registration, which you can find on the website. And Bill, do you want to say anything about your Chinrezi retreat?
I think it's June 18th, correct?
Through the 25th.
Okay. The one part I was not absolutely certain on. What's that? Yeah, it's a 1 week. It's a 1 week retreat, focusing on the practice of Chinrezi, Bodhisattva compassion. This is a practice, for those who aren't familiar at all, it's a practice using the methods of Vajrayana Buddhism. So it has to do with identifying ourselves as the Bodhisattva. And through this practice, all kinds of things are cultivated. Whatever practice we engage in, they're all a little bit like holograms, where any little piece that you go into, you can find all the rest of the Dharma. So this is true within Chenrezig practice as well. So when we do this practice, we will also have an opportunity, since a week long, we'll have an opportunity to go into different dimensions, follow different threads into different aspects of the practice. So if you have more questions about it, please see me. It's very helpful if you have some background with Chenrezig practice, or at least some background with retreat. More information, talk to me at the break.
Thank you. And then also Lama Eric Trebelhorn will be leading a calm abiding insight retreat. It has kind of an extraordinary title, which I don't remember.
Discovering awareness.
Discovering awareness. Okay.
Finding solace in the 3 solitudes.
Finding solace in the 3 solitudes. We had a good conversation about that last week. That's August 20th through the 28th. And
On a more mundane level, maybe not. It's cleaning day, so staying to help purify the area is a great merit and a great help. And secondly, we're still looking, we're again looking for someone, a handy person, to help around the center with small fix-up things. We lost our friend Don Dyer. He moved to Salem, and he always fixed everything. So we're looking for someone who just has a bit of time occasionally, fix a doorknob, fix a window, kind of thing. So see me if you have those skills and you want to help out. Thank you.
okay. So, Carolyn will ring the bell when it's time to come back. Enjoy your break.
Here we go.